O'Connor is a philosophy traditional scholar.
And she's a teacher in Dublin.
She's a teacher in Dublin, yeah.
And I wasn't aware. Somebody said she ran.
She ran for state representative. She ran against Mike Duffy.
Oh, okay, that district. All right.
Hey, Dennis,
Thanks.
I don't mean to sound critical, but I didn't hear a whole lot of substance up there besides quality schools. I didn't hear a whole lot of specifics. What's prompting the formation of this group, and what specifically are they going to be looking at?
Yes, and I think that what's going to be very different about this group is that we are going to have a true grassroots movement starting in all 613 school districts and in all the communities that those school districts serve. We're reaching out to the people. We're going to inform, engage, and eventually activate. So what we're going to do is we're going to have people being knowledgeable about what's going on at the State House, what's going on in the public schools, because there's thousands of great stories to tell every day in our public school system, and we're going to try to tell those stories. But we also want people to start to really understand that there's a true connection between the community and the school. And your local public school is really the crown jewel of your community, and vice versa. The strength of your public schools is determined by the strength of your community. So these are interwoven. That's why we have the icon we have, which is a weave. And we want to make sure that people understand that. We want to educate, inform, activate. And so then when people start to really understand what's going on, then it'll be much easier for us through social and new media to reach out to these people and engage them in letter to their editor writing campaigns, to holding town halls in their communities, to just spreading the word to their neighbors and family members and co-workers and communities. So that's really what this is about. So I know it sounds like it's I take your question to heart, but at the same time we think there's tremendous substance here. We're really excited about this movement, the beginning of a very powerful movement.
But is the whole school funding thing, is that the impetus here, or
no? It's not.
Else?
The school funding. Obviously, anything that affects public schools, we will address. School funding affects public schools. Charter schools affect public schools. Vouchers affect public schools, and we will be a strong and loud advocate for strong public schools and strong communities. That's we're going to make people ask this question: how does your education policy improve or enhance your public schools and your local community? Because right now there are some folks who advocate a wild west of public schools, which means you go wherever you want to go and be the Lone Ranger out there. We're talking about making sure that people understand that when you build strong public schools, you build strong communities. We do not want a wild west here. We want to improve our communities and improve our schools.
Well, so how is this different than what we've had in the past, though? We've had the coalition in the past.
Coalition in the past, I don't think has ever been able to have the ability to reach out to 613 school districts in every community in the state. We're going to build Facebook, web page, Twitter account, YouTube. We're going to start amassing email lists so that we can send email blasts out to people. We're going to communicate in a meaningful way. There's a lot of people out there who feel and think in very similar ways about how strong they want their communities and their public schools to be. But they feel detached from one another. We're going to attach people. We're going to bring people together. They're going to speak in one voice for one notion, and that is, I want my community to be strong and I want my public schools to be strong.
Now, what I want to ask about, where I'm starting to think about the upcoming funding, Kasich hasn't said a whole lot, but he's been, in my judgment, pretty combative. We were talking about this earlier. Pretty combative towards schools in need for money. I mean, on levies and such like that. How worried are you about the funding formula? And what do you think that he's like that?
Well, because we don't have any details, Kathy, it's very hard to address that. What I will say is just in advance is that if the governor's school funding formula enhances strong public schools and strong communities, then I'm sure that we're going to embrace it. But if we ask those questions I asked before, does this strengthen schools? Does this strengthen communities? And if the answer is no, or in any manner no, any part of it no, then I believe we'll be opposed to it. But the thing is, we're going to rally people together on this and let them know what's going on. I mean, information is power, and we have these new ways to really communicate with people across the state, and we're going to use everyone at our disposal right now and every emerging technology as well.
Are there any policies, like current policies right now, that you can point to that you really support or hope are in the budget, or are there anything that like is a red flag?
No, nothing. Just generally, we think that the concept of the Wild West of schools is wrong for everyone involved. It's wrong for the communities. It's wrong for the parents, the students, the educators, the small business owners who want their communities to be strong, property owners who have children in the schools, and property owners who don't, but also depend on that public school and that community to be strong for their property values.
Are you guys paying close attention at all to the Cleveland plan? I know that they just got their levy passed and they're going to be implementing their kind of different.
Well, right now we're sort of taking a broader view. We're not really looking at any specific school district. I know we had some people here from Dublin that talked about what happened in Dublin, and that's great. But really, we're looking at a broad view here because we want to have a universal message. And again, going back to some really basic fundamentals: are you helping the local communities? Are you helping the public schools? Are you strengthening them? That's the questions we're going to be asking over and over again.
And finally, just or is there any kind of who's paying?
Right now, a lot of the public education organizations are involved in this, but they run the spectrum. There's OASBO, OSBA, BASA, OEA, OFT, the Coalition for Equity and Adequacy. The PTA is in there, so we have parents with us, but we're also going to be reaching out. That's the beginning of this movement. What we're really hoping for is to see lots of small business owners from all over the state being involved. We want to make sure, we're really glad that the parents, the PTA is with us, and we want to really work with the parents and local communities because they're the ones who really understand this better than anyone, and we want them to be on the front lines, just as you saw today. Two parents were here. By the way, Deb's a stay-at-home mom with no kids in the system. Kim Tucker is too. They just really believe in strong schools and strong communities, so they got really involved here. They don't have Deb has her one child is a dental student at OSU. Yeah, older, and her youngest is she just told me at Georgia State down in Atlanta. Yeah.
So this group is probably going to oppose any kind of plan that shifts money away from public schools to private options.
I would think that if there are private, absolutely, private options are out. If there's investments in charter schools that are really proven to be, what they promise to be, which are innovators, sharers of those innovations, if they are actually churning out students and meeting excellent standards that are that they've promised to deliver, then I don't think this organization will have any problems with those charter schools. But for those charter schools that are just sucking money out of the system, they're sucking money out of our local communities. They're hurting our local communities. So we will definitely be standing up to those.